I have a session with two blocks overlapping a little bit. I moved the mouse cursor in between to switch from animal to bidirectional arrow. Double click, crush. Interesting. Two blocks overlapping. Double click. Overlapping a little bit, he said. Okay, interesting. So let's have a look at the dump. Tempo guide. Right. Right, resize left import. So there's a tempo guide involved. What am I looking? There's a tempo guide on the workspace, but it's not visible. That's what this means. But I'm assuming that it's visible. So it must be off the screen to the right. He must have a tempo guide to the right off the screen like that. Surely. And then he's simply left resizing. No. Tempo guide. Snap points. Get snap points. Snappable instances. Oh. Right. No. So what's going on here is we're getting a list of all of the snappable instances, which is referring to every block is basically has a left and a right edge which you can snap to, even if it's not a tempo guide block. So for example, this block has an edge here and an edge here, which you can snap to while you're dragging. whereas Tempo Guide has the left edges, well, it has all of these tempo markers that you can snap to. So we're getting a list of all of the blocks that we want to consider whether or not we should be snapping to them. All of the blocks that we want to consider for snapping. Does that make sense? I don't know. The way we're doing that is we're saying all of the blocks from the left-hand edge of the screen, or the left-hand edge of the visible workspace, to the right-hand edge. And we're just getting a list of blocks. Then we're iterating through them and we're getting snap points, which for non-tempo guides there'll just be 2 snap points, the left and right edge. For tempo guides, we lazily generate the list. So eventually we get to here. And we're assuming that the tempo guide is visible, that the control is visible. So I was thinking if we have a situation like this, where the control is not visible but the block is still technically on the workspace, and I was assuming that that was the problem. Tempo guide. Generate snap points. So are we getting to here? Yes. So this is saying actually it is visible. Surely we should get to here at some point. I need to scroll it over. I forgot that the way that this is implemented is the right hand edge of the workspace is actually to the right of the volume meters here, which is not correct. It should be to the left of it, but it's just the way that it's always been implemented. I never bothered to fix it. So this volume thing is sort of overlapping the right hand side of the workspace. So actually once it gets to, see, that is a bit buggy as well, but once I get to here, now I think I will get this crash. Boom. Okay, I found it. So Christian basically found a corner case where he had a situation where, just by off chance, he had a tempo guide and he had the workspace panned and zoomed so that the tempo guide was just behind the volume slider there. And then he tried to do a resize operation and he got the crash. So where do I want to fix? Where do I actually want the fix to be? Because I suppose it should be here in get snappable instances. So if we get to generate snap points, I think it's correct to assume that this is valid. So we should never get to that point. I don't want to... I could just fix this by returning out of that function if there's no blah blah blah. Anyway, not finishing that sentence. I got bored halfway through. Get snappable. Right. I'm going to use a raw loop instead. For core in... Oh, how do you do this? I just have begin and end iterators. Whatever. Pause. Do things the old-fashioned way. I don't think C++ has a kind of transform if, which is what I want, yeah. So fuck it. People say you shouldn't use raw loops, so it's like, well, what do you want me to fucking do? Write my own transform if, and then put it in a library. So if no, let's do it like this. Graph, core graph. Get control. No. There's no such thing. Oh, I can do that. I thought I had a thing. I actually have no interface at this point to check if the block is visible or not. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I can just go geometry, control visible. Right. You know what I'm confused about though is what is going on? Am I running out of disk space or what? I can't save this file. I must be running out of disk space. I have run out of disk space. Okay, I'll stop the recording and try and solve that. Alright, I freed up some space. I just wanted to understand why I'm not seeing the same problem when the temper guide is to the left. Surely I should have the same issue here. Oh, no, because temper guides are always visible when they're to the left. Obviously, okay. So this does make sense. Alright, let's create the Christian situation. There we go, fine. So I have a little bit of visual bug I've noticed here where when the tempo guide hides behind there, it sort of still shows this slither of block for a second. I don't think I care about that. That'll be fixed one day. Okay. So fix crash when hiding behind level meters.